Now this, ladies and gentlemen, is Benny. His Pokédex entry states that he dissects slugs and then spews them all on our kitchen floor. Now I just made that up, but... So, there may have been a night that you may have stayed up to obsess over the fact that Pokemon just hasn't lost its creative edge in the factory that manufactures fuel made for nightmares. All it does is have 5 times the dosage of regular caffeine mixed with a bit of acid to boost your anxiety levels through the roof. So whether their Pokédex entries involves them getting involved in stupid shenanigans or they get tasered by a ghost-type police officer, we cannot ignore these facts, and we have to keep them sacred. So in this list, we won't be talking about any other entries from past games, except for one. You'll see that pretty soon. There will be one per evolution line, but I will talk about the previous evolutions if their Pokédex entries fit in pretty well. So with all that said and done, here are the refined top 10 most disturbing Pokemon. I can hardly contain myself. You do realize my knee is bouncing up and down. Dig! Well, let's just pass this through so that we can get on with things. It should have been like a top 8, really, but how official does that sound? It emits flickering spores that cause drowsiness. When its prey succumb to sleep, this Pokemon feeds on them by sucking in their energy. Ah, life energy, ah, boo, ah. When Cavey shakes someone's hand, he's actually draining their body fluids. Alright, I just don't like the whole body fluids thing, it's just getting really old. You know, try sucking out their liver instead. You know, if you're an alcoholic, that may work well for you. But I suppose these straws are just long enough to grasp. So there you have it. There is your life energy sucking Pokemon for today. I mean, there is another Pokédex entry that states that it guides people through, making them lost. But hey, it's as Gollum said, don't follow the lost. Well, I would rather follow more well-written creepypasta. But that's just me. No! So originally people saw Bruxish as a Pokemon nobody wanted anything to do with because it was just another one of those weird looking fish. But you gotta understand, there is more to what meets the eye. Exhibit A. When it unleashes its psychic power from the protuberance on its head, the grating sound of grinding teeth echoes through the area. It stuns its prey with psychokinesis and then grinds them to mush with its strong teeth. Even Shelder's shell is no match for it. No, come back! This is a bit of a personal choice for me because grinding teeth is one of those sounds that goes through me. You have them, it may be someone grabbing your leg, that's what goes through you, like a sensitive area on your body. Just flick through my hair. It's curly, so you'll like it. But I don't really want to hear grinding teeth echo throughout all the area, thank you very much. No wonder Wimpod is afraid of everything. That's all it can hear all the time. Oith! Brown sweets. Looks tasty. A delectable aroma pours from its body. They are often swallowed whole by toucan and lured by that wafting deliciousness. Alright, so I was just making a joke. So not only does it get eaten, but it gets swallowed whole. I don't want to see anybody's stomach, I don't want to dissolve in their acid. I don't want to see myself in their poo. And toucan is a bird, so he just eats it in and just like slots it straight back out again. If you've seen those weird parasitic things that attach to snails, you'll know what I'm on about. Although I'd like to see a Pokemon based on that now. Well, no, we've had the Cordyceps, but we need the alien snail. Oh, yeah! Scythe! Alright, I could describe Oratorio's little charade as disturbing yet completely weird. And all of its styles are just as guilty for it. This Oratorio has sipped red nectar. Its passionate dance moves cause its enemies to combust, in both body and mind. Really now. This Oratorio has sipped bright yellow nectar. Its bright, cheerful dance melts the hearts of its enemies. What, literally? This Oratorio has sipped pink nectar. Its enemies' hearts melt at the sight of its gently swaying hips. Screw the anime nosebleeds then. This Oratorio has sipped purple nectar. Its elegant, attractive dance will send the minds and hearts of its enemies to another world. What the What? Okay, and there's a bit of an off-the-cuff kind of one. It summons the dead with its dreamy dancing. From their malice, it draws power with which to curse its enemies. So, was it Beauty that killed the beauty? No. He danced, caused a chain reaction, and thus she got heartburn and heart disease. 2-in-1 offer. Thanks, Sainsbury's. You cheeky little devil bird. Necromancer, kind of disgusting, psychopathic, telepathic guzzlord. I'm going to use that as my new Pokemon insult now because it has Lord at the end of the title. If you have something Lord at the end of it, it makes you sound like the worst of the worst, you shit lord. Bitch lord. Quick! Is it a bird? Is it a plane? It's on the ground, sir. But planes land. Mimikyu, ladies and gentlemen. His actual appearance is unknown. A scholar who saw what was under its rag was overwhelmed by terror and died from the shock. I am going to elude myself from this game of Guess Who, if you don't mind. It is not Colonel Mustard with the rolling pin. So right next to Diglett, we can call this Pokemon a highly mysterious adversary or foe. The only difference being that ignorance might be bliss in this one. And quite frankly, dying in 7 days might be a viable preference so that I can build a fort in my living room ready for such an invasion. A lonely Pokemon. It conceals its terrifying appearance beneath an old rag, so that it can get closer to people and another Pokemon. Look, it's a rag, not an invisibility cloak. You can't just drag people under there, you stupid, selfish bitch. After going to all the effort of disguising itself, its neck was broken. Whatever is inside is probably unharmed, but it's still feeling sad. Okay, so it's not exactly the kind of Pokemon that will ask you if you're ugly, but it's really his bad breath that killed them. But yeah, okay, there's a bit of a sad backstory to it, so I can't make fun of this Pokemon for too long because I might be offensive. Just like the infamous Incineroar, I have to announce, guys, that I have turned heel. I know, it's a weird thing, but I have to embrace it. Pimp! Game Freak have decided to take on one of the most infamous of all the sea creatures. Sorry, where are my manners? Sea abominations with a satisfied prostate. They have one because they're genderless. It lives in shallow seas, such as areas near a bench. It can eject its internal organs, which it uses to engulf its prey or battle enemies. These Pokemon line the beaches. The sticky mucus that covers their bodies can be used to soothe sunburnt skin. How convenient! Like now Game Freak realize how disturbing this Pokemon is, so they want to bring a bit of light to it. But yes, the real animal, the sea cucumber, does that. But it is still pretty nasty. And I didn't think Game Freak would ever think about putting this Pokemon in. But hey, they're capable of so much. But it's nothing Game Freak can't avoid unless they decided never to ever create a Pokemon based off of the sea cucumber. There you go, there's the name. Not to mention Innards Out, the ability which makes Pukumiku spill its guts on the foe, with dealing damage when it faints. Petor! I haven't really seen any Pokemon quite like Araquanid with how it looks. You haven't either because you see this Pokemon too, clearly. It delivers headbutts with the water bubble on its head. Small Pokemon get sucked into the bubble, where they drown. Despite what its appearance suggests, it cares for others. If it finds valuable, weak Pokemon, it proactively brings them into its water bubble. That's okay, buddy. You stay safe in here. Psych! No more scuba lessons for you. Or better yet, the whole, "Aw, he's so precious when he sleeps. In the afterlife." I mean, this could be one of those entries that could be clearly misunderstood, but I ain't counting on it. You can't fool me even though you might do, with whatever tie-in game you have next. But if it is whether this Pokemon wants to keep the Pokemon safe or wants to drown them, make your mind up! You can't have it both ways! That's me done! I'm doing this camera recording after I did all the vocal recordings, so I have a bit of a theory. Maybe it saves humans or any other mammal that breathes out of water, but it suffocates fish inside its water bubble because this water bubble is where there is no water getting inside. So, okay, maybe it's not so disturbing, but now, it is suffocating Pokemon, and that's a horrible way to go. So, don't forget about that. 3! Now, originally, Golbat just sucked blood. Blah, blah, blah. It's a bat, you'll have to do better than that. Sometimes they drink so much blood, they can't fly anymore. Then they fall to the ground and become food for other Pokemon. Remember the story of the glass cupboard? Or closet, if you live in America. 3 robbers steal a cupboard made of glass, coincidentally from some figuratively blind king, as the cupboard would give you anything you wanted, and thus they wanted gold all the time. So they didn't stop, and thus they died! Well, I don't think Golbat read that story. And look at him now. being stored away in the confines of a lowland Persian's rosy cheeks. It was fate that brought them together. Die! Toxapex oddly has no defined chest muscles, and there's always something fishy about an animal with dreadlocks longer than his body and swims with fish. Don't tell me they're not dreadlocks, okay? They clearly are, because they're clearly full of dread. Toxapex crawls along the ocean floor on its 12 legs. It leaves a trail of Corsola bits scattered in its wake. Well, the DNA confirms that Corsola is indeed not alive. Scientific evidence right there. The game tends to mention it as well, sure. It's nature and damnation. It's pretty scary. But the entry just makes it seem like a zombie with large intestines hanging out of his mouth. Fandabby-dozy!
Sonan redevis.
Darumaka's droppings are hot, so people used to put them in their clothes to keep themselves warm. You know, you could just go make material that doesn't smell like shit. And when you're sparing a few coins for the charity collector, you'd say, oh, I was pretty sure I had some change in here right next to this shit. Here you go. A bit of its only smells. While grooming itself, it builds up fear inside its stomach. It sets the fear alight and spews fiery attacks, which change based on how it's coughed. Hairballs? Problem solved. This Pokemon snorts body fluids from its nose, blowing balloons to smash into its foes. It's famous for being a hard worker, that part is irrelevant. Thank you, Poplio, for getting snort all over my balls. It adores having Rattata and Raticate for dinner. But, as it's diurnal, it never encounters them. This Pokemon boasts incredible patience. One of the Ultra Beasts. It's unclear whether or not this Pokemon is sentient, but sometimes it can be observed behaving like a young girl. Alright, let's get you that new Barbie doll. Its habitat varies from beaches to seabeds. A natural scavenger, it will gleefully chow down on anything edible, no matter how rotten. So you remember when we had Spritzy, who we speculated might be eating shit? Well, now we have a Pokemon that definitely is eating shit. Guess what, everyone? We have that ghost Pokemon. Now we'll start with Sandygast sentries, just to build up to the main conclusion. Born from a sand mound, playfully built by a child, this Pokemon embodies the grudges of the departed. It takes control of anyone who puts a hand in its mouth, and so it adds to the accumulation of its Sandman body. Okay, we're getting worse. Possessed people controlled by this Pokemon transformed its sand mound into a castle. As it evolved, its power to curse grew ever stronger. Oh yeah, and here's the kicker. Buried beneath the castle are masses of dried up bones from those whose vitality it has drained. So, pretty much the Aldrich of Pokemon. Have you played Dark Souls 3 before? Oh, please say yes. I need to make that reference work. Go play it now. So, what does Swigast evolve into? Pylosand! And I mean, you find these things so casually on beaches in Pokemon Sun. So just keep your distance. Don't encourage Pokemon with Iron Fist to punch it. And remind it that it's supposed to be a kid's sandcastle. So you should take that spade off if he's acting this way. So, that's all she wrote, and it definitely was murder. Hopefully this video will show up in people's sub boxes. So, get to it now, or just click the bell in case it doesn't. But be sure to like and subscribe if you did enjoy the content, and if you want to follow me on social media, then the links are down in the description below, as well as all my other pages where I host content. So, until next time, thank you for watching, and lights out. Time to hide in Puku. Ah! Time to hide in Piku. It's not Pingu!